In the city of villains, Zenus, which is off the map and the closest city to hell on earth, people and other kinds of beings can be seen. While these two goons were beating someone, one of them froze upon seeing Weiss. As he walked, all eyes were on him. Weiss looks to the side and notices a girl with aqua-colored hair and ears that point upward. He wondered if she was a high elf. High elf was the subspecies of elves unknown to the general public. Unlike normal elves with green hair and long horizontal ears, high elves have beautiful light blue hair and upward pointing ears. This group of high elves can use all kinds of magic and is said to have been extinct long ago. He had just read about them in an ancient book about high magic that he found in the capital and thought it was just a fairy tale and didn't expect they really existed. After questioning himself about what this one is doing in Zenus, he calls the attention of this ugly bald egg, addressing him as a scumbag. He questioned about the business for the day, and when the bald egg saw it was Brother Weiss, he flinched. Weiss observed he had a lot on his hands today and inquired if he managed to sell most of the product. The bald pig agreed and elaborated that slaves needed food and supervision, and buying too many at once was inefficient. He added that a short time ago, all the inhabitants of the mansion on the hill were killed. Weiss could remember those incidents and realize it was his fault. That day, when he was craving his favorite fried chicken, this crying monkey told him he couldn't make deep fried chicken without his boss around. He revealed that his boss was taken by the men from the hill. Weiss knew the owner was a rare good cook in Zenus and concluded that it was the reason why he was attacked and became a slave for life. He grabbed the useless monkey and asked why he didn't help the owner, but the monkey stutteringly told him he couldn't do anything. While Weiss was frustrated because this was the only place he could get fried chicken in Zenus, the crying monkey told him to do something about it. Weiss went to the hill, and after attacking the guards, he used his magic on the mansion owner. The mansion owner told him he couldn't get away with what he did, but Weiss clarified that in Zenus, there's no God to judge, no laws that exist. After that, he went to the fried chicken owner and released him. The owner thanked Weiss for saving him and asked how he could repay him. In response, Weiss told him to open the shop tomorrow. Weiss forgot that in this mansion, there were cells in the basement and a lot of slaves were in there. Back to the present, the bald pig told him that after the incident in the mansion, a lot of thieves came in and found the slaves. With such a large number of slaves, he couldn't handle it alone, so they split them up among different merchants. Weiss understood the situation and looked at the girl. The bald pig managed to at least sell 4 this morning, but there is still one left. Beautiful elf girls have no problem finding a buyer, but this one is useless for him because her hair has a strange color and her ears are deformed. Weiss assumes that it was the work of the mansion owner, and he thinks that the mansion owner was using this kid for his experiments. He knew this kid was worth millions of Zenus, but for a pig like this merchant with no education, he was certain he wouldn't know of her existence or value. The merchant planned on throwing the girl if he couldn't sell her, and laughed after saying she might become happier if the wild dogs ate her. However, he was shocked when Weiss asked about her price. The bald egg asks if he plans on buying her and says he can get something better because this piece of trash wouldn't be useful to him. Knowing how valuable this girl was, Weiss almost pooped after hearing this girl was just a piece of trash, so he patted the pig's shoulder and said that he just always wanted to help him in his business. The pig was touched and very happy that he would take the leftovers, and even though this kid's price was 250 Zenus, he would give it to him for 220 Zenus since they were brothers. Weiss paid him 300 Zenus, making the pig happier, and said he was the best brother for always helping him. Weiss told him to stop flattering him and take off the kid chains. The pig follows as he says, and after releasing the girl, Weiss notices that she has no reaction even though she is already freed. He wondered what she went through to make her consciousness dead. He lowers his body and tells the girl they should go, but the girl still has no reaction, which makes him release a heavy sigh. He extended his hand to the girl and told her they would take a walk. While the pig thanks him for purchasing, Weiss realizes that even though he took this girl without thinking, he had no idea about parenting. Being a father for the first time is like walking blind in the dark. A while later, at Weiss's home, he tried to call the girl by a different name, but after seeing she still had no reaction, he became irritated and asked what name she liked. He asked if she couldn't talk or didn't just want to. Still, the girl has no reaction, which makes him wonder if she has no understanding of his words. He planned on teaching her to walk first, and seeing that she didn't say anything at all, he concluded that she might be a slave since she was born. Weiss wasn't a good person because all he knew was to destroy and kill. He doesn't care if anything happens to others because he believes no one can make everyone happy. However, it bothers him that this thing happened. He planned on raising this child as his daughter, not a slave, but before he could do that, he must make her conscious first. He suddenly had an idea that the first word she said would be a commemorative name. He lowered his body and patted the kid. He told her that from now on, he was her dad. He pointed his finger and told her he was dad and she was his daughter. Nevertheless, the kid still has has no reaction, which makes him freeze and wonder what to do. With that, Weiss became a dad. Night came, and when he saw that the bed was wet, he realized the road ahead would be tough. Seeing how peacefully she slept, Weiss was speechless and realized it was his fault for forgetting to take her to the bathroom before bed. So far, he had managed most things with no problems, but since he had bought the girl without thinking, he realized it was as if he had gone to an unexplored lower dungeon without bringing any equipment. He put her on a chair and decided to think of her name for later. Since she smelled awful, they would take a bath. Weiss splashed her with hot water, and upon seeing her hair covering her face, he laughed while saying she looked like a ghost. Observing how many flies, leaves, rats, and other things came out of her hair, he asked if this was her first time bathing. He played with her hair by turning it into ice, cat, and waves and then chuckled. He expected her to smile, but seeing that there was still no reaction, he concluded it would be a long road. After taking a bath, his loud scream can be heard outside as he kneels on the floor. He cursed and realized he had no clothes for her. He removed one of his window curtains and put it on her. He looks at her and thinks it will be okay for now. He decided that he would buy something appropriate first thing in the morning. He lifted her and apologized for not having clothes for her. They go upstairs, and upon entering a room, he tells her that she will sleep in this soft bed from today. They lay on the bed and mumbled how tired and sleepy he was. He gets up upon realizing he didn't give her anything to eat. He went downstairs and looked for food, but he only had piles of alcohol and no food except for dry bread. Since she had no appropriate clothes, he didn't want to bring her outside to eat while wearing a curtain. After preparing a jerky and bread for her, he slowly put her in a chair. Observing it would be hard for her to reach the food, he tried to find something to add to her chair, but after finding a box, he was surprised to see her already munching the food and realized she was really hungry. He apologized and assumed she never ate well. After saying he would get something better to eat later, he wondered what kind of life she had led. The other day, after preparing things for a bath, some drinks, and putting away dangerous things, Weiss told her that Daddy would go shopping, so he would leave her alone for a moment. Even though he says that, he thinks she doesn't understand him at all. He has taken care of everything in advance by softening magic on the floor and putting barriers in the kitchen and stairs to prevent intruders from coming. Still, it was hard for him to leave a child alone, but he had no other choice. He went outside and closed the door. Before leaving, he cast magic that prohibits the entrance from the outside. He swiftly ran and shouted he would be right back. He arrived at this clothing store, and upon opening the door, he shouted he needed help. The lady asks what he needs, and upon realizing it is Weiss, she crosses her arms and inquires if he needs something from her. Her eyes widened when Weiss said he came to buy girls' clothes. She wondered if he kidnapped someone, but Weiss thinks she was rude and clarified she didn't kidnap anyone but buy a slave elf girl that couldn't sell. The lady wondered if he was that desperate and asked if he had a thing for little girls. Weiss irritably gritted his teeth and told her it was just a whim. He tried to grab something from his pocket and said the girl didn't have any clothes and he didn't have any idea about children's clothes. He slammed the coin on the table and stated he wanted her to pick an outfit for him. The lady was shocked at the money he showed and asked if he was planning on buying all of their clothes. Weiss was confused and asked if the woman's clothing wasn't expensive. The lady agreed that they couldn't buy a silver coin, but with his 5 gold coins, he could buy as many outfits as he liked. She knew he was a wise man, but didn't expect him to know little about this world. She asked how old the elf was, and he pointed to a statue, saying she was about this size. The lady got it and told him she would prepare it and will give it to him. Weiss thanked her and said goodbye. The lady was glad they would close early today and was so excited to meet the little elf. After a while, Weiss returns home, and upon opening the door, he asks if she has been a good girl, but he is frozen after seeing her remain in her position. He scratches his head and thinks she has never moved since he left. He put the things he had bought on the table and told her to wait for a moment because he would prepare something. Even though he doesn't cook, he is certain he can do it because he is the kind of guy who can make anything. After cooking, he placed it on a table and showed her a spoon. He informed her that they use utensils like this spoon when eating, and as he scooped some soup, he told her this is how it is used. He tried to feed her, but she still had no reaction. He waited for a second until she slowly moved her face towards the spoon, and when she finally took the food, his eyes sparked in surprise, and he eventually smiled. He told her to eat more and said she was doing very good. The other day, someone called Weiss outside, saying it was Holo. Weiss opened the door and was amazed to see a bulk of clothing. Holo asked permission to come in and said she would take back clothes that wouldn't fit on little elf. Upon seeing the elf, she couldn't help but be astonished at how adorable the little elf was and realize it was why Weiss developed a fondness for her. She suddenly notices something different from her because elves usually have green hair, but this little elf has blue hair and pointy ears. Weiss agreed that she was rare and said that was the reason why he bought her. When Holo was about to try on the clothes for the little girl, Weiss went into his room and realized that Holo, who held a special position in the elf kingdom, didn't recognize that this little girl was a high elf. Based on what he sees in Holo's actions, she doesn't even know high elves exist. Knowing high elves should have been extinct, he concluded they were hiding in the elven kingdom and on their way to Zenith. But if his conclusion was right, he wondered where in the world this little elf came from. Holo told him he could come in now, and when he did, he was shocked to see the elf's new appearance, as if she were a different person. Her transformation exceeded his expectations, and he thanked Holo for that. Holo winked at him, saying he was welcome and informing him that she already charged enough for the clothing. She also prepared underwear and pajamas for little elf, so she told him to check them out. Before leaving, she told him he could ask her anytime and said it was interesting that he was raising an elf girl. Weiss appreciated her kindness, and they bid goodbye. He looked at the little girl and told her it was bedtime. After putting cute pajamas on her, he thinks she is adorable. When he woke up, he noticed the little girl grabbing his shirt. Seeing how adorable she was, he couldn't help but stay. He covered her with a blanket and thought that this little change was a big step. After mumbling that today would be a good day, he wondered if her action meant she allowed him to enter her heart. He was certain the day was near when they could properly communicate. However, it wasn't the case because when they got up and told her his name, the little elf still had no reaction. He stood up and sulked near the table. He decided that before he taught her to start talking, he must resolve her no-reaction state first to make progress. As he made some tea and looked at her, he wondered what to do and asked why she was different. He wondered what was running in her mind, but he didn't know what a child thought. He sat on the chair and realized he also had his childhood. He wondered what he was thinking back then. At a young age, at school, after he cast powerful magic, the professor was impressed because, at his age, he had already mastered such high magic. They added that some had already offered a place for him, and they were sure he would become a high official in the magic ministry. Weiss was considered an extraordinary genius with no problem in childhood and had a guaranteed future, and he came from a prominent family in the capital. He received love from his parents like everyone else, and he thought it was a happy family, but in the end, he couldn't stand being forced into a life path, so he ran away from the capital. His childhood memories are blurred because of the intense experiences and memories since he left. The most he can remember is until his school years. Still, like others, he couldn't remember how he learned to talk. Now that he thinks about it, he wonders how the guy who got a job at the Ministry of Magic is doing. They used to hang out during school days, and he has heard rumors that she's had unprecedented promotions, which is assistant to the director. The rest of the class considered her boring and did not understand jokes, but he always felt comfortable with her for some reason. He knew that if she took off her awful glasses, she might be popular because her appearance was quite good. He suddenly woke up from a nap, and when he stood up, he realized he had fallen asleep and saw that it was already dark outside. He picks up the adorable girl and puts her in her bed, thinking that her indifference may not be something he can resolve just with knowledge. After he wondered if he should rely on anyone, he went to Holo the other day and asked how he could make a child happy. Holo remembered that the little elf indeed looked like a doll when she dressed her, but she had just been free from slavery, so it was natural that she wasn't lively because no slaves are full of energy. Weiss agreed with her but insisted that having no reaction was a bit extreme. Holo nodded, revealing that she doesn't have experience as a mother, so she doesn't know about it either. She suddenly got an idea to go to Laurette at the tavern because he had experience raising 5 children. Thinking of going there makes her crave for drinks. It didn't take time before they arrived at the tavern, and as they drank, Laurette told them that the little elf was currently lacking love and was desperate in this world, so he advised Weiss to give her love that she had lost. Thinking that the old man talks like a priest, Weiss sighs heavily before asking for more salt. Laurette's salt was very delicious, so Holo couldn't help but ask about the ingredient. Laurette responded that it was a trade secret and told Weiss he didn't need to think so much. Since he decided to raise the little elf because he felt something for her, all he needed to do was to treat her from the heart. Weiss was confused about what he said, so Holo tapped him from the back and agreed with Laurette, stating that he must give the little elf some love. Since he doesn't have many qualities, Holo thinks it is best for him to be accompanied by an elf girl. Weiss stood up, telling them he would go now. Holo was surprised to hear he was already leaving, but when Weiss told Laurette to give her more drinks, she thanked him so much. At home, recalling the advice from Laurette, Weiss prepared a special dessert and asked the little elf if she wanted him to feed her. He tried to feed her, and when she ate, he was so happy as he complimented her. He patted her head like a dog whenever he had a chance because he believed that physical touch was a good way to convey love. Even though the little elf has no reaction, he keeps talking when they take a bath. Before they eat, he teaches her how to hold the spoon and how to eat because he thinks that the most important thing is spending time together. When she successfully ate on her own, he lifted him and swung in the air as he complimented her on a great job. He could remember the time when he was always praised when he was a child, had family dinners, and slept together in the same bed. This thing that his parents enjoyed doing, he also showed it to her. As he read a bedtime story, the little elf became sleepy, so he lay her on the bed and covered her with a blanket. With a smile on his face, as he looked at the little elf, he could recall that he had managed to survive his life so far, and now he will become this child's father and mother. He was sure this time would be fine, too, and decided to give his all. The other day, bird chirping could be heard from the roof as Weiss considered what kind of cook he would do for the egg. He decided to cook a ham with egg but turned his head when he heard the little elf. He asked himself if she woke up by herself and was surprised because she had never tried to walk alone before. He patted her head and asked if something was wrong. He couldn't help but ask himself what was happening as he looked at her face. After cooking, he teaches her how to hold a fork, and as she eats, he tells her to keep going. Happy faces can be seen on both their face after she ate. They still can't have a conversation, but she is more active now. He can see her growing day by day, and he thinks her change is a mystery. However, as he looked at the child while trying to wipe her face, he wondered why he was so happy that she was now more aware. After that, he went to the tavern, and after opening the door, he shouted that it was great news. Hearing how noisy he is makes Holo ask what is going on. He slammed the table and told Holo to listen, saying that the little elf ate by herself. But hearing Holo's only response "oh" made him tell her to be surprised at least. But Holo was even more surprised by his outfit, so he told her that his clothes had become dirty because he was doing chores that morning. He continued telling her that the little elf was incredible because not only did she eat, but she also walked by herself and sat down in the chair. Still, Holo was speechless. Laurette told him it was great news as he handed him a drink. Weiss agreed and stated he never thought the day would come when the little elf could eat by herself. Laurette chuckled and responded that his love for her had made it possible. Weiss was confused about love because he didn't do anything special. Laurette looked at him, and he could see by Weiss's look that he had really become a father figure. Weiss agreed and said he decided to raise little elf as his daughter. Back at home, Weiss was teaching little elf how to pronounce the words, and when she did it, he hugged her and praised her for doing a great job. He mumbled about how great her memory was and told her they should keep going. He taught her 1 to 2 syllables, and when they were in words that started with the letter R, he noticed she couldn't pronounce the R word, so he picked her up and told her there was no rush because what she showed today was more than enough. Now that they were done for today's lesson, he told her it was time to eat, but he was surprised when she slowly got off his hand and went to the nearby chair and sat at it. He froze momentarily before laughing. He fixed his sleeves and told her he would prepare something incredibly delicious. As he cooks, he realizes elves are indeed a much more intelligent race than humans, and high elves are even smarter because they are a superior race. After a while, the little elf pointed at the book and said it was a cat. Holding a kettle, Weiss was surprised that she could already read. As she kept pointing to different animals and saying their names, he narrated that his plan was to name little elf after the first word she said in celebration, but it was harder than he thought it would be. Words like A or U are definitely out of the question. Even meaningful words are still tricky. She could pronounce the hippopotamus, elephant, and other animals, but when she came to camel, she pronounced it as Camu. He chuckled and thought it was close. Seeing how she loves animals, they went to this ugly turtle and asked for the animal books. Holding at her father as she looks at the ugly turtle, she pronounces the animals as animas. Seeing the child's reaction made the ugly turtle assume that she really liked the animal books, but told them that the only available book was placed on the counter, and there were no animal books there. Weiss notices the pile of books and asks if there are no animal books there. The vendor told him to come back later because his back was hurt, so he couldn't even organize his things and couldn't find anything in that mess. Weiss got an idea, so he tried to help him by using magic to arrange his things. Seeing the books were flying, little elf shouted bird. In an instant, the books fell organized behind the ugly turtle, which amazed him and made him ask what magic that was. Weiss told him it was a secret and informed him he could search now. Leaving the ugly tortoise no choice, he asked what books they needed. After a while, little elf was humming as she held a book. Weiss was glad they found one and told her he would read it to her when they went to bed. While little elf was climbing the chair to read her book, Weiss planned on cooking stew for dinner. Seeing the book made little elf so happy, and while Weiss was cooking, he heard her say Lily. He froze momentarily before turning his head. Elf read what is written on the cover, which is Lily. Weiss was so glad she pronounced the letter L and approached her. He also read the book cover and informed her that Lily Reed is the author's name. Elf repeated the Lily, which made him happy, thinking it was a lucky guess. However, he stops when he realizes something about Lily. He thought it wasn't a bad name, so he told her that from now on, her name would be Lily. He lifted her up and stated that she was now Lily Frenberg, his daughter. That's how the little elf got her name. Gradually, Lily began to absorb everything with astonishing speed, and he thought that it was definitely the intellect of a high elf. When they went to the pub, Lily cheerfully greeted them good morning, and the eyepatch man also greeted her, making Weiss warn the eyepatch man not to touch her with his dirty hands. With her smile, Lily became the only healing character in this world, like the end of the world in Zenith, and she became somewhat popular. Lily politely ordered juice and cookies for her, and for her dad, she ordered him a bit of steak. Laurette thought Lily was really impressive, and Weiss responded by saying that it was because she was his daughter. While he looked at his child, Weiss realized she was growing day by day. A bright smile can be seen on Lily's face as Weiss told her it was a beautiful day. She agreed, so he told her the son would surely love her, too. Lily became embarrassed and touched her face, so he warned her to watch out and not let go of his hands. They cheerfully hummed on their way, and when they arrived at the clothing store, Lily quickly ran towards Holo and embraced her, saying Lily had arrived. Holo welcomed her and noticed how energetic she was. Weiss apologized for coming frequently, but Holo told him it was fine, he was always welcome. Lily ran inside to see some clothes, so Weiss reminded her about her promise not to buy anything that day. When Holo said she couldn't believe he had become a strict father, he frustratedly asked if she expected him to be a foolish father. He admitted he was strict, saying no more than one candy a day and no staying up late. He can't spoil Lily too much either because it wasn't good for her. As a father, he believes he is perfect, but Holo doubts it. He informs her he will be leaving Zenith next month, which shocks her, and she asks why so suddenly. As a father, Weiss knew there were things he could not teach Lily, no matter how perfect he was. Lily cannot make friends in this town because there are hardly any children who are not slaves. Aside from that, Zenith has a really bad environment for raising kids. He wants to go back to the capital and send Lily to school. He has many acquaintances, and his alma mater is also there. Holo was shocked to learn he was from the capital and asked why he come to a miserable place like Zenith. Weiss could remember the past when there were insistent requirements in his path, but he told Holo that a lot happened, so he ran away from the Ministry of Magic. Holo asks what he did, but before he can answer, Lily approaches them with her cutie face while holding a dress. He told her he couldn't buy it, reminding her that she wouldn't buy anything today, but when Lily made this sad, cute face, he shouted at Holo to shut up and take his money. Seeing his reaction made Holo doubt that it was a good idea for him to take care of Lily alone, and realized that it was a good idea to send Lily to school. After a while, at Weiss's home, while Holo had clothes for Lily that were fit for the city, Laurette gave Weiss alcohol and some salt to snack on. Weiss thanked them and told them they helped him a lot. Holo told him to take care and said she felt uncomfortable when he was away because Zenith was full of villains, but it now exists as a city because of him. Thinking of it made him mumble that he crushed everyone he didn't like. He wondered if she would be fine if the Zenith collapsed again, and told her that if she found herself in trouble, she could call him. He didn't care what would happen to Zenith, but he was willing to come if it was to help her. She blushed after hearing that and wondered if it was a declaration. However, Weiss clarified that it was a thank you because if it weren't for her, Lily would still be naked. He told her to take care of herself, but before she could speak, Lily called her and thanked her for the clothes. She welcomed her with a big smile, telling her that she was sure that the clothes would look great on her. The two then hopped in the car and left these two wonderful friends. A few days later, Weiss told his daughter that they wouldn't be riding the carriage anymore because they were almost near the capital. He asked if she was tired of the long trip, but Lily wasn't, saying she had fun traveling with him. Weiss told her they could already see the capital when they came out of the forest, so Lily got off from his dad's hand and tried to walk by herself. Weiss told her to be careful, and when they got out of the forest, Lily was amazed at the sight. A huge wall surrounded the whole city, and a magic barrier from above covered the whole place. He told her it was the city he came from and asked if she could do what he told her. Lily responded that she would try her best, so Weiss told her to remember to be well behaved when she got to the gate. If she was asked, she must answer she was an orphan in the past. He narrated that access to the capital is very strict. There is protective magic in the air, so one can only enter and exit through the north, south, east, and west gates. Since he was from the capital, he shouldn't have any problems getting through, but the problem is Lily. As an elf, saying she's his real daughter doesn't make sense. If he says she's an orphan, they will probably ask for an orphanage certificate, but he must hide about it at all costs, that Lily was a slave. If it gets discovered, something terrible might happen because slave trafficking is a serious crime in the capital. Still, he knew he had a chance and hoped Lily would behave well. When they arrived at the gate, Lily was astonished to see a real soldier, so she approached both of them. Weiss taps his head and apologizes, saying they want to enter. The guard asks for the name, and when he says Weiss Frenberg and the little girl is his daughter, the guard flinches, realizing his name sounds familiar. Weiss asked if the Ministry of Magic hadn't notified them of the search and told them to get in touch with the minister's assistant, Zieglein. They must tell them his name, and he was certain they would know who he was. They froze as they repeated Zieglein's name, so one of the soldiers quickly moved and told him he would check it out. Weiss looked at his daughter and said that Zieglein was his friend and the one who would let them in inside the gate. Lily wondered if Zieglein was nice like Holo. Weiss recalled his friend before answering that she would be nice to Lily. Well, it's as nice as a study subject. After a while, Lily fell asleep due to tiredness, and Weiss noticed that Zieglein was taking a while to arrive. He looks at Lily and plays with her face. He first pokes her face and then pinches it. A while later, soldiers suddenly salute when a person arrives. She approached Weiss, and upon seeing the child, she couldn't believe he would appear before her with his child and ask if it was an attack on her. Weiss could observe that she still had the same humor and asked why she still wore those big, dark, boring glasses. Zieglein Floyd, assistant to the Minister of Magic, flinched after hearing that. In the reception office of the Ministry of Magic, while Lily was sleeping, the two were talking. Weiss observed how luxurious the surroundings were and assumed the Ministry of Magic was making money. Zieglein seriously told him they were not NGOs. Seeing her reaction made him mumble that neither of them had changed. Lily suddenly talks while sleeping, asking her dad for candy. Weiss almost spits his tea when Zieglein inquires if she is his real daughter. Weiss denied it and told her to look at her ears. She noticed she was an elf and apologized for not seeing it properly. Lily begged her dad for just one candy, making Zieglein look closer to her, and she stood up upon noticing something. She asks if she is a high elf. Weiss grinned, already expecting it from the spellbook nerd that even if she didn't know he was a friend of elves, she would notice about Lily. Zieglein wanted Lily to be taken to the lab immediately, but Weiss calmed her down because Lily might wake up. As she sat, he expressed how lucky he was to find Lily about a year ago. He raised her and returned to the capital so she could attend school. Lily is an orphan and couldn't smile for an entire year after everything she'd been through. He wants her to have a normal lifestyle and enjoy childhood things like playing with friends and studying together. Considering that her life has been the worst so far, he wants her to be happy from now on, so as her father, he asks Zieglein for help. Zieglein was speechless momentarily but still understood him. She told him that their alma mater, the magic school of the capital, offers an education of the highest quality, and she thinks that it's the best environment for a high elf's education. Weiss asked if she could enroll Lily next year, and Zieglein responded that she would do what she could do even though she wasn't excited about it. Weiss thinks it was a huge help and said he had two more requests. He wanted a safe house and was willing to pay whatever it took. He asks bodyguards for Lily, saying that if anyone realizes the value of a high elf, it could be dangerous. Zieglein wants to talk to the Ministry of Magic about the bodyguards and get good soldiers because she also doesn't want the world to know that high elves exist. Weiss doesn't like her idea because what he wants is bodyguards from her people. The fact that Lily is a high elf, he wants to keep it a secret just between the two of them. Zieglein stood up, reminding him that the existence of a high elf is a national asset. Still, Weiss doesn't want to involve Lily in adult issues. Besides, it's hard for Lily to make friends if treated differently. He wants her to have a normal school life. Seeing Zieglein sit and release a heavy sigh, Weiss mumbled that he had been a problem for her for a long time, so he apologized for that and told her he would give her a substantial reward. He knew she had a lot of difficulties because of her position. He will help her in her work, but only as a personal employee. Zieglein agreed, and since she had a lot of issues that she couldn't bring to light, she would make him work hard, so she asked him to be prepared. She excitedly stood up and wanted to fulfill his first request, so she asked him to follow her. On their way, Weiss asks about the capital and notices the changes in the city. He sees the banner of Gatrin's magical artifacts shop and asks if it has moved. Zieglein reminded him it was the store from which he was banned. When he felt the magic of all the products and turned them off, she had to apologize for that. Luxury magical artifacts are usually unique. They are imbued with magic and marked with the owner's name. That day, when he and Zieglein were inside Gatrin's magical artifact shop, Weiss picked one of the artifacts, mumbling that turning a magical artifact into a luxury brand is questionable and thinking it was just a business owner's tactic. Seeing the owner near him, Zieglein tried to shush him. Weiss noticed something and tried it. When Zieglein felt the energy, she quickly approached him and asked what the meow he was doing. While the owner almost sunk to death, Weiss responded that he was just thinking of trying it out. Back to the present, Zieglein reminded him that her father apologized to the owner and paid his debt before he graduated. Well, the artifact was worth 43 million zenas, which was a 7-year salary for a public servant. Weiss thanked her wealthy family for helping him and recalled that he always ran around after class to complete missions for that debt, and he appreciated her help. Zieglein told him it was nothing and mumbled that he wouldn't have had to pay off the debt if he had married her. Weiss asked if she said something, but Zieglein told him it was nothing and added that she was just impressed that he could pay off the debt while still being a student. Weiss laughed and boasted it was him. They arrived at the location, and seeing the house amazed Weiss. He asked how much it cost and concluded it was expensive because of the location. Zieglein let him know that this place was owned by the Ministry of Magic and funded by taxes. Since no one uses it anymore, the rent was good. Weiss wondered if it was really okay to rent this luxurious house for a low price, but Zieglein told him she would make him work like a dog and added that it was a future investment. Before they came in, Lily woke up and asked where they were. She ran inside and asked if it was her new house. Weiss was about to talk about him and Lily, but Zieglein reminded him that Lily was an elf with congenital anomalies. Since she has subordinates living nearby, he doesn't have to worry about security. Lily cheerfully hugged a pillow, and seeing this made Zieglein ask if she had a mother. Weiss reminded her Lily was an orphan, but Zieglein knew that and clarified that what she meant was Lily's true mother. She suggested having both parents around was better for a child's education. Weiss agrees with her, but he can do nothing because he doesn't have a wife or a girlfriend at the moment. Zieglein was stunned to hear that, so she gathered her courage and asked if she could be Lily's mother. Knowing she wasn't that kind of person, Weiss asked what she was talking about. Embarrassed, Zieglein told him loudly not to underestimate her because she wasn't the same as she was back in school. Seeing Zieglein tremble in mixed emotions, Weiss wondered if she really wanted to investigate high elves to that extent. He was impressed and realized that there was a race that was supposed to be extinct, so it was natural for her to get involved. What the meow? This idiot couldn't see that Zieglein was into him. Anyway, he told her he understood how she felt but asked her not to push herself too hard. Being a mother means that she would be his wife in a way. With an ugly face, uglier than a monkey, Zieglein looked at him and shouted she didn't have a boyfriend because of him. Weiss was confused after hearing that, so she trembled and didn't know what to reason. She shouted that it was his fault because she ended up working at the Ministry of Magic because of him. She pointed her finger and told him it was time for him to pay back all those years of debt. She approached Lily and introduced herself. Lily also introduced herself, but when she asked if she didn't want a mom, Weiss thought she was a weirdo and mumbled to himself that if she was just getting to know a child, she shouldn't ask those questions. However, he realized that he hadn't thought about a mother for Lily yet. Thinking Lily felt slightly lonely, he wondered if he should consider it. Zieglein suddenly asked Lily what she would say if she told her she was going to be her mother. Their eyes met, but Lily didn't know what to answer, so she quickly ran to her father and hugged his leg. She looked at Zieglein and said that she already had a dad. Weiss chuckled, and as he patted her head, he asked if Zieglein was scary. While Zieglein asked herself why and wondered what wrong she did, Weiss wanted to say it was because her attitude was scary. He chuckled and thought that she wouldn't be able to be a mom if she didn't understand this. The night came, and while Lily was sleeping, Weiss considered whether Lily wanted a mother. After a while, Weiss can be seen holding a supply list and informing Lily she would be going to study. She asked if she would go with Dad, but Weiss told her he already graduated after studying a lot, so he didn't need to go anymore. Playing with his hair, she mumbled that her dad was cool. He read the list and learned she needed a wand for magical support, a robe for defense, and a hat to control magical power. Zieglein noted that students with high skills can cast spells without a wand, and an advanced student must wear a hat to control their power. After reading those, Weiss sighs and thinks that he better coordinate everything with Bittner if he is going to do this. He was not interested in the brand, but he knew they had a really nice design. They went outside and walked down the street. Weiss told her to be careful not to get lost, and she excitedly answered that there were so many people. She saw a lot of bread, so Weiss told her it was a bakery. She saw shoes, and Weiss informed her it was a shoe store. When she saw one of the signage, Weiss told her it was a clothing store. She excitedly walked towards the door, mumbling that Holo was inside, but Weiss told her she wasn't there. Inside, they were welcomed by this lady. While Lily was amazed at the clothes, the lady asked if they were looking for robes for school. Weiss nodded, and Lily cheerfully introduced herself. The lady asked if she was excited about school. Lily answered yes and said she would study a lot so she could help her dad. Weiss was touched by her words and thinks Lily cared for him so much. As the lady told him Lily was a sweet daughter who loved her dad, a voice suddenly heard, saying to take their time to look around. The voice added that all their products are handmade by her because she is an expert wizard who even sews and finishes everything. The voice came from this old lady, the store manager. She chuckled and asked if he was Weiss, inquiring when he returned. Weiss was surprised and said that it was Esmeralda, his teacher. Esmeralda Eisenbarth was their teacher and was once called the most talented magician in the imperial capital. Weiss asked if this was her business, and she chuckled before saying she started it for fun. However, she has been running it for 3 years and hasn't put her name on it. Weiss was sure it would thrive, but Esmeralda reminded him it was just for fun for her because if she wanted to make money, she would join Bittner. The lady could see that they knew each other, but Esmeralda told her that the man in front of them was the one who made her drop out of school. Still, seeing him now made her think it was time for a generational change. In the background, Lily was having trouble putting on clothes, so the lady chuckled upon seeing her. She approached her and taught her how to properly wear the robe. Esmeralda noticed Lily was a high elf and asked what he planned on doing. Weiss wasn't surprised she would notice it because she had a good perception. Esmeralda agreed and boasted that she hadn't lost her sharpness even though she stopped teaching. Weiss revealed Lily was an orphan and he was raising her like his own daughter. He didn't have so many plans, but he wanted to give her the tools to live independently because he believed anyone would want their daughter to be happy. Esmeralda agreed with what he said and asked if Lily needed an exceptional robe to protect her. Weiss said yes but clarified that a robe shouldn't make that much of a difference. Esmeralda agreed if it was for commercial clothing and inquired if he wanted the best robe that suits a worthy high elf. Weiss answers in the affirmative, saying he wants to give Lily the best robe in the imperial capital. Esmeralda liked his determination and suggested hunting a crystal dragon. It is the hardest one to hunt because it is a supreme dragon covered in crystal that absorbs magic, the mage killer. Meanwhile, Zieglein was forcing herself to smile in front of a mirror and then asked her servant Emma about her face. Emma told her lady that her face was majestic and distinguished. Yesterday, Zieglein asked Weiss if Lily was scared of her face. Weiss advised her to try relaxing and approaching Lily. He then asked if she could recommend a babysitter because he had to be out all day tomorrow for something. Zieglein presented herself, but Weiss knew she was busy. Still, Zieglein insisted, saying she would take the day off and assured him that Lily would call her mom by nighttime. A while later, Weiss rode the modified magic motorcycle he borrowed from Esmeralda. This motorcycle could shorten journeys that would normally take weeks to just a few hours, but it depends on the rider's power. After saying goodbye, Lily was teary-eyed while telling her dad she would be a good girl and asking if she couldn't go with him. Weiss could hear a whisper from a devil advising him to take the child with him. On the other side, the voice of an angel warned him that it was a dragon hunt, so he couldn't take the kid. Weiss responded that he was strong and could show Lily how cool he was, but the angel told him it was still dangerous for Lily. Weiss became confused and tried to hold himself. Seeing his action made Zieglein ask if he wasn't supposed to leave already. After that, the scene returns to the present, where Zieglein is still forcing herself to smile while Lily is playing. Even though she accepts this task confidently, she still doesn't know what to do. She is aware that she isn't the type kids like and recalls that she was always scared the first years. As she thinks Lily might see her as terrifying, she observes that her facial muscles are starting to tense up. Lily suddenly walked to pick something and then back in front of her to draw something. She approached the kid and noticed how serious she was. Seeing that the drawing looks like a monster, she asks what she is drawing. When Lily was done, she showed it to Zieglein and said it was her. Zieglein looked at the drawing and thanked Lily for drawing her. However, she noticed Lily's tummy was growling. They went to a nearby restaurant and ordered some pancakes. Lily was drooling at the sight and cheerfully ate it. Zieglein was surprised upon hearing it was Lily's first time eating pancakes, so she asked if Lily had never been to a place like this. Lily responds that she has been to Uncle Laurette's shop in Holo. She really loved Holo because she was kind and was her dad's friend. Zieglein dropped the fork she was holding after hearing that and wondered if Holo was Weiss's ex-wife. To her relief, Lily revealed that Holo was the owner of a clothing store, and she was thankful to her because she now had clothes. After heaving a sigh of relief, she stated in her mind that she shouldn't doubt for no reason. She asks where Holo's store is and where Lily lives. When Lily responds that it is Zenith, she is shocked because Zenith is the most brutal city in the whole world. Meanwhile, Weiss continued on his journey to get the Crystal Dragon. Crystal Dragon was about 10 meters long and lived in Guina Volcano. It's a great material for armor, like a tunic. According to Esmeralda, the longhorn parts have the property of concentrating energy, making them prime materials for wands as well. This motorcycle tire has a magic coating that is heat resistant to the volcano. His mission difficulty was at the maximum level because the crystals that cover the dragon's body absorb magic and neutralize magical attacks, earning the dragon the title of the Mage Killer. However, he could still win if he injects more magic than the dragon can handle. Upon landing his eye on the crystal dragon, he quickly summoned a magic lance in a magic circle and then threw it to the dragon. Realizing he used so much magic, he became worried that the dragon might be useless if it shredded into pieces. To his surprise, nothing happens. He wondered if the crystal dragon could absorb magic infinitely because he already injected enough magic to level an entire city. The dragon growled at him, so he ran to make distance. He picked some stone, and with accelerated magic, he threw it towards the dragon. Seeing that he managed to injure the dragon's tail, he wondered if physical attacks could actually hit the dragon. As the dragon flew in the air, he realized he couldn't defeat it using this method. A piece of stone falls, and when he catches it, he asks if this crystal shard is from the tail that got hit. It suddenly glowed brightly, and when it got back to normal, he was amazed at its absorption ability. He got an idea. He poured all his magic into this crystal shard, and when it was about to explode, he noticed no crystals in the dragon's mouth, so he threw it directly at its mouth while shouting that he would get a shiny tunic for Lily. The dragon gulped down the crystal, and in a matter of seconds, a loud boom occurred. Weiss returns to the city and goes to Esmeralda's shop. He threw the magic bag and informed Esmeralda that it had about 50 crystals. Esmeralda told him she didn't need that much, so he asked if she could buy the rest. Esmeralda doesn't have that much money, so she advised him to take it to the financier because they always showcase magical dresses to promote the brand every year. They will pay whatever price he asks for a crystal dragon dress. Hearing the magical dress made him ask many questions, but Esmeralda simply told him that it was fashion. As usual, Weiss could only think of his dear daughter wearing fancy clothes. When he returned home, Lily was so happy and welcomed him with a hug. Zieglein was worried because he was late, so Weiss apologized and told her he had several setbacks. He then handed his gift to Lily and asked if she got along well with Zieglein. After saying she adored Zieglein and revealing that she had let her try pancakes, she opened the box and drooled over the delicious food. Weiss was glad Zieglein got along well with his daughter. Even though Lily didn't call her mom, Weiss told her it was normal and revealed it took him a long time before Lily called him dad. The day Lily called him dad, he cried after she fell asleep. At the Francois store, Lily was astonished to see a luxurious dress. Aurelia, an elf, the head designer at Francois, asked Lily if she liked it and inquired if Weiss was the one who would provide rare materials. Weiss confirmed it and was impressed with her design dress. He was delighted to provide her with material, but they were shocked when he told them that the materials were the crystal dragon. Crystal dragon horns were a super rare material that she hadn't even handled. While Lily would look around to see the dresses, Aurelia and Weiss went inside the living room to discuss the materials. Weiss put the bag on a table, and while Aurelia looked at the materials, she froze at its authenticity and wondered if this man had defeated the dragon. She wants these materials, but she doesn't know how much they cost. As if he knew what she was thinking, Weiss told her he would give it to her for free if she accepted his condition. Knowing that Francois presents a magic dress every year, he wants her to make the dress using a crystal dragon horn. Aurelia accepts it with pleasure. Meanwhile, the adorable Lily is trying different clothes, and the attendant can't help but praise her cuteness. After telling his daughter she looks like an angel, Weiss told Aurelia his other condition was more important. When she finishes the magic dress, he wants her to make an identical one for Lily. Aurelia is surprised and asks if he is sure that's all his request. Weiss confirms it, saying they don't need much money to live, and he just wants to see Lily wearing a dress. Lily cutely asked if she would also wear a dress and inquired if she would be a princess. Weiss, the supportive dad, agreed with her and said that Aurelia would make her the dress so she would be able to be the most beautiful princess in the world. Seeing their action made Aurelia wonder if they were okay. The other day, Weiss and Lily went to the ruins on the outskirts of the capital. He didn't expect that there would be a place like this in the capital because he had never been here before. He recalled the day when Esmeralda gave him this map, saying that she wasn't the one who would make Lily's staff because they were just a clothes shop and couldn't handle crystal dragon horn. She threw the crystal to him and told him to take it to her friend, the one who would help him. She couldn't believe he had defeated the dragon by aiming at the inside of its mouth with a containment magic circle, so she asked where he got those bad ideas. But Weiss didn't answer and just chuckled. Back to the present, the two arrive at their destination. Weiss asks for the owner and mentions that Esmeralda had instructed him to come to this place. When a fatty drunk man answers, Weiss inquires if he is Romero. Romero confirms and asks what he wants. Knowing he is an exceptional staff maker, Weiss wants him to make a staff. He then hands over the crystal dragon horn, mumbling that no artisans can handle it. Romero looked at the item and was certain that a common artisan could not handle it. Still, he refused Weiss's request and said he had already retired as an artisan. Weiss told him it was for his daughter, but Romero casually responded, telling Weiss to leave him alone. However, when Lily begs him, he can't help but agree and asks to bring him exquisite liquor. The two started to walk home, and when they passed an alcohol shop, Weiss was certain Romero wouldn't be satisfied with a supermarket one. Lily asked if alcohol tasted good, and he answered yes. But when he realized something, he clarified it wasn't and told Lily never to try it. At home, Weiss asked Zieglein if there was a legendary liquor. Zieglein responded that there was, but it wasn't legendary. It's a liquor that doesn't circulate in the market. Her father is a sake lover, and he has his favorite sake made through a special route without sparing any expense. But she didn't know if her father would share it, so she suggested giving him a gift. In that case, Weiss recommends giving this salt to her father, but Zieglein concludes it isn't enough. Weiss told her to trust him, and when she did, she managed to trade it for 2 bottles. She had never imagined it would work, so she asked Weiss about the salt because the moment her father tasted it, he started drinking as if he was possessed and drank non-stop until he passed out. Weiss told her there was nothing special in the salt. It was just incredibly delicious, and he asked if she hadn't tried it. Zieglein was intrigued, so he suggested they drink together next time so she could see how fantastic it was. Zieglein agreed and then turned to leave, saying she would get back to work and would be back tomorrow. As he looked at Zieglein, he realized that even though she was busy with her work, she still came often. With that, he concluded that she might really be obsessed with the high elf. While walking, Zieglein recalled the day Weiss told her to take off her glasses because she looked beautiful without them. After removing the glasses, he advised her to change them because they didn't suit her. She ordered him to give it back, but Weiss dodged her hand and told her there were hairstyles that would look better on her. Zieglein warned him not to make fun of her, but Weiss was serious and told her she was cute. Seeing her exhausted, Weiss stopped teasing her and gave back the eyeglasses. Knowing she had spent all her time in the library and had no energy, he advised her to play or exercise. She asked who the meow he was, so he told her his name. Zieglein told him she knew his name because he was the famous student with the best grades. Weiss apologizes because everyone calls her the bookworm, but Zieglein tells him it is a fact and asks if he just came to make fun of him. Weiss had no intention of doing that and said he just wanted to know her. He then said goodbye, telling her he would see her again, but Zieglein told him not to come back again. With that, this library became their meeting place, and eventually, they became close. At present, she releases heavy sighs, wondering how many years have passed since then, and she thinks it is a bit too much for her first love. Meanwhile, Weiss was amazed at the effect of the illusion liquor he got from Zieglein a few days ago, and the mission with the staff was a success. The next day, Weiss and Lily visited Esmeralda's shop to pick up the tunic. While Lily was amazed upon seeing the robe, Weiss was shocked to learn that the staff they ordered yesterday from Robert was already done. The staff is used to focus and correct magical power, stabilizing spells. Most people use staff, but Weiss doesn't use one. Weiss was amazed as he looked at the staff, which was made of crystal dragons. When Lily wore the robe and the staff, her dad was blown out at her cuteness. Esmeralda tapped her shoulder and told Weiss that if he looked closer, he could see everything sparkle. Not just the decorations but the fabric itself has woven crystals. It is the best armor and must be the most famous tunic in the Empire. Weiss thanked her so much and then put his daughter on his shoulder. Lily asked if she looked like a mage, and he responded that she was the cutest mage in the world. Right now, he wants to run and show off this adorable girl to everyone in the capital. But upon realizing it would be pretty bad, he pondered momentarily. Seeing he was in deep thought, Esmeralda asked if he was worried about something. He answered that he wasn't worried but muttered many questions, asking if there would be a problem at school, wondering if there would be a commotion because such a cute girl was enrolling, and asking himself what to do if she suddenly got kidnapped when she was lost at his side. Nastasia School of Magic is a prestigious institution with a long history where one can receive the best magical education in the Empire. Those who wish to work in the field of magic usually enroll here. Although it's a renowned school, it doesn't only accept students from prominent families, it also opens its doors to all children who want to learn magic. They teach magic from the basics, so one doesn't need to know anything before enrolling. Even he, who graduated at the top of his class, knew nothing about magic when he started. However, Lily is a high elf. The magic school is primarily designed for humans. There may be parts that are hard to understand for a rare race like high elves, but it would be a shame if Lily felt out of place and couldn't keep up in class. If she spends her days smiling and carefree, she will surely make a lot of friends. Since he wants Lily to enjoy her school life to the fullest, he should get ready. He commanded Lily to close her eyes because he would teach her some magic. Except for a few races, everyone is born with magical power in their bodies, but they are often unaware of it. To use magic, you first need to sense the magical power within you and receive a good education. The magical power of others is considered a foreign body by your own body, so you can perceive it. If he transmits his magical power to Lily, she'll be able to sense her own magical power. He commanded Lily to release it from the palm of her hand. Lily tried her best to follow her dad's instructions, but when nothing happened, she suddenly collapsed. When Weiss caught him, she apologized for failing. Weiss hugged her and told her not to worry because it's normal for it not to work on the first try. After a while, Lily still tried her best to do magic but failed. Weiss was confused because, at the magic school, even students without talent could sense it after a few tries. Lily wanted to feel it again, but he didn't want her to strain herself too much, so he told her to eat. Lily became sad and asked if she wasn't going to be able to become a mage. Weiss assured her she would become a great mage and then hugged her. Thinking something was wrong with Lily, he wondered if he should ask someone for help. With that, they go to Esmeralda. Upon arriving, Lily cheerfully greeted Esmeralda. Noticing how she became more obedient than her dad, Esmeralda told her she liked honest kids. When Weiss asks if she finds the cause, Esmeralda observes the kid and inquires about how he tells Lily to let her magical power flow. Weiss responded that he just told the kid to let it out. Esmeralda informed him it wouldn't work because Lily has a faster flow of magical power than normal kids. If he lets her power flow slowly, she will just get confused because it doesn't match her frequency. Weiss sulked and wondered if it was his fault. Seeing his action worried Lily, so she approached her dad and asked what was wrong. Weiss thinks he is a bad father. Not only does he fail, but he also makes her feel insecure. He then taps her shoulder, releases a powerful smile, and says it is nothing. Esmeralda advises him to adjust the speed of Lily's magical power. Even though it is difficult, she knows it is a piece of cake for him. He then started the procedure by touching Lily's hand and then controlling the amount. Lily could feel better than usual now, and when she opened her eyes, she stretched forward her hand and was about to release her magic. Observing it was a powerful magic, Weiss quickly created a barrier to protect the area. After that, Lily turns to her dad and asks if she did it. Weiss answers in the affirmative, so she inquires if she will be able to become a mage. Teary-eyed, Weiss felt sorry for making her insecure and stated that she is now a mage. With Esmeralda's help, Lily was able to sense its magic. He never thought raising a child could bring so much joy, and now that he understands the feeling of being a father, he keeps distancing himself from that place. He releases a heavy sigh before leaving the house he is renting and then goes to his family house. Ever since he ran away from the capital, he has lived his own way and never contacted his family. He knows he worries his parents so much and thinks that if he shows up out of the blue, they will probably scream at him, slap him, cry, or even faint. On top of that, he has a daughter. Still, he is ready to take a hit. But different from what he imagined, his mom was just a little bit surprised and greeted him. Mom prepared some food and wasn't surprised Lily was an orphan because she didn't look like them. She then told Lily she was her grandmother and informed her that her grandfather was at work. Lily became confused and asked if Weiss's mom was also her mom. While Weiss tried to clarify that mom wasn't exactly Lily's mom, Mother chuckled before telling Weiss he had become a good dad and that she was proud of him. Weiss became irritated and inquired why she wasn't mad at him for leaving without saying anything. Mom told him she was his son and figured he would be alright. Since Zieglein often comes around, she doesn't feel lonely. After he left home, Zieglein comforted them by saying she would find Weiss. Mom told her not to push herself too hard, but she's been coming to report to her every week since then. She then asks her son if he really thinks about Zieglein and reveals that Zieglein is the only one who cares about him so much, despite how selfish he is. On their way home, he realizes his mom may be right and wonders what Zieglein's wish is. He knew she wanted to be Lily's mom, but it all depended on Lily. All he can do is support them in getting along. When he went to Zieglein, the lady asked if Lily was already asleep. He answered yes and apologized. She was confused as to why he was apologizing and was startled when he suddenly came closer and tapped her shoulder, asking if she wanted to be Lily's mom because he would help her. She suddenly panicked and shouted that his action was the same as the textbook she had brought for Lily to read. She said that it should happen in the right situation and in the right atmosphere. Weiss was confused by her mumbling and asked if she cared about Lily. Embarrassed, Zieglein inquires if it's really okay. Weiss reminded her she was the one who suggested it and asked if she was having second thoughts. Now that she was calm, she smiled and said finally. Observing she is now smiling, Weiss find her smile cute. Zieglein then asked if he have time for tomorrow. The next day, Weiss recalled what she said yesterday. She would prefer everything if he came alone. He wondered if it was a mission but became confused upon seeing her wearing casual clothes. This place was her favorite because it was famous for its pancakes. He was shocked to learn that the pancakes here were too expensive, but when she told him to order whatever he wanted, he ordered a coffee and asked if he could take pancakes for Lily. Zieglein agreed, and they placed their order. Seeing how well served the food was, Weiss realized those 2,000 zenas were worth it. Zieglein wasn't really a fan of sweets, which made Weiss wonder why she ordered them. Zieglein responded that she has always been curious, and since it's her favorite place, she couldn't believe she had never tried the signature dish, so she could share it with him. Weiss asked permission to eat the pancake she ordered, and when she agreed, he found it delicious and not that sweet. He told her to try it, and when she did, she realized it was really good. When she was a student, she used to check this place out all the time but never thought she would be together with him after 10 years. After they ate, Zieglein thanked him for joining her today and asked if she could invite him again. Weiss told her she could invite him anytime because they were friends. He then waved her goodbye and wondered about the mission he expected. When he went back home, Lily cheerfully welcomed him. While he handed her the pancake as a gift, he informed her that this gift was special because it was from Zieglein. Seeing how she was thankful to Zieglein, Weiss thinks it's working. The other day, Zieglein gave him a mission about something fluffy. Zieglein elaborated that the daughter of a wealthy family that makes big donations to the Ministry of Magic is about to enter magic school. Even though the entrance ceremony is coming up, she doesn't like any of the robes from the capital. She's throwing a tantrum because she wants a one-of-a-kind fluffy robe, and her father has asked the Ministry of Magic for help. Weiss wondered when did the magic of ministry turned into a grocery store, but Zieglein didn't get it either. Still, she can't turn this mission down. Knowing that the kid wouldn't do anything dangerous in school and was treated special, Zieglein informed him they weren't looking for defense in the robe but rather that it was fluffy. Knowing she was in a hurry, Weiss told her he would leave right away to hunt some fluffy. A while later, before leaving, Lily insisted on coming, and knowing angel bears are cute, he let her come. His goal is to find the fluffy monster called the angel bear. It's an adorable creature with a heart-shaped pattern. It's very gentle, but that nature works against their kind. Many monsters and humans hunted them before they reached adulthood. Upon seeing the angel bear, Lily was amazed and ran towards the little bear. She crouched down and introduced herself, saying she was Lily and wasn't scary. She invited the little bear to play, and it moved closer to her. The little bears slowly come towards her until they surround her. Seeing how she made a bond with the bear made Weiss chuckle and then used this moment to his advantage. He knew that Lily would be shocked if she saw him take down an angel bear, so he would go hunt one while she was playing. He was about to attack one of the bears, but Lily suddenly came, asking what he was doing and inviting him to play. Moments later, Lily was riding his dad while chasing the little bears. While Lily was so happy, Weiss was so exhausted because the bears ran faster than he imagined. He asked himself when he would catch the angel bear and wondered if this mission was harder than defeating a crystal dragon. Lily told him to keep going, but he was already exhausted, so he apologized and told her he couldn't keep up anymore. He suddenly felt something, so he shouted and saw a bear unconscious from the distance while a silhouette of a person approached it. The silhouette crouches down and extends its hand. Seeing this, Weiss uses magic, so before the silhouette can do anything to bear, she is knocked down. Worried, Lily quickly ran to approach the bear. Weiss examined the mother bear and mumbled that it was already gone. While Lily comforted the little bear, the woman became conscious, groaning in pain. She saw Weiss and asked who he was. Weiss told her he stopped her from trying to hurt the bear. Weiss misunderstood her action because she was actually patrolling this area from a nearby village. The angel teddy bear is a tourist attraction for the village, but many want to harm it. Since the mother bear was injured, she tried to investigate. Weiss apologized to her. The woman introduced herself as Kaya, so he also introduced himself and his daughter Lily. Sobbing, Lily inquired what would happen to this little bear and asked if it would be left alone. Weiss asked Kaya if the baby bear would be safe in the village. Kaya told him it was complicated. As she mentioned earlier, there are many who are after the angel bear. If they took in every orphan, they would never be done since it's a poor village. That's why they decided to just patrol to prevent the angel bears from being harmed. Weiss became speechless when Lily asked to take the baby bear with them. She made this sad face and promised to take good care of the baby bear. Weiss asked Kaya if they could bring the bear as a pet. Kaya confirmed it and asked where he lived. She was shocked when he said he was from the capital, but after he mentioned he had a large garden, she approved their plan to bring the bear. He approaches Lily and asks if she is really going to take care of the baby bear because caring for a living being is complicated. Lily confidently said yes and promised to do her best. He sighed and stated that from now on, the baby bear will be part of their family. Kaya wanted to accompany them so she could check if they could really take care of the angel bear at their home. Weiss glanced at him before putting the lifeless bear inside the magic bag. He informs her that he doesn't have a problem with her idea, but warns her that the regulations in the capital are strict. If she can't get in, she must not complain. He added that he would also take the dead mother bear. Kaya became excited and wanted to leave immediately, but after hearing they only use a magic motorcycle, she asked how she could get to the capital. Weiss suggested dragging her using a rope. Hearing that made Kaya furious, and she stated it was a bit extreme. She recommended putting her in his magic bag. Weiss agreed with her idea, and even though he didn't know what would happen if he put a living person there, he quickly put her inside the bag without counting. A while later, they arrived near the gate. Weiss released Kaya from the bag, and upon observing she wasn't moving, Lily wondered if she was okay. While Weiss waved his hand in front of her, Lily named the bear Kumatan and invited it to play. When Kaya became conscious, she looked around and questioned where they were. She saw the two and then shouted at Weiss, saying she almost died because of him. Weiss reminded her it was her idea to get inside the bag and offered to take her back using his magic bike. Still, Kaya didn't want to return yet because she couldn't trust an amateur like him with the bear angel. Since she came here without anything, she told him to take care of her food and lodging. She then approached Lily and cheerfully went to the gate. Weiss thought she couldn't pass the gate but was shocked when the guard let her in with a sparkling smile. Weiss became angry and grabbed the guard's collar, shouting that they looked suspicious at first glance because he had a monster and elf with him. He told the guard to do his job right, but the guard responded that he had unconditional permission to pass because it was Zieglein order. Kai was amazed to see the capital for the first time and cheerfully looked at the buildings. While Kumatan was sleeping, Weiss asked if she wasn't tired. Lily responded that she was hungry, so he suggested eating pancakes. Upon hearing about the food, Kaya was drooling and asked Weiss to let her have some. As they ate, Kaya felt like she was in a fluffy paradise because of the delicious food. If she had stayed in the village, she would have never been able to eat these pancakes. Weiss told her to stop exaggerating because her village wasn't that far. Kaya sighs and states it isn't about the distance but the money. This coffee costs 300 zenas, which is the equivalent of her weekly salary from taking care of the bear angel in the village. She is grateful to Weiss for taking care of her and decides to make a name for herself in the capital and eat pancakes every day. Weiss sighs and wishes her good luck. But when she orders more pancakes, he becomes irritated and asks if she isn't worried about her family. She tells him not to worry, saying her family will think that she was eaten by the bear angel. Weiss informs her that the angel bear is an herbivore. At home, Lily gave Kumatan a plate and said that starting tomorrow, he would eat from it. She pointed to the sofa and informed him he could sit and lie there. Meanwhile, Weiss and Kaya were kneeling before Zieglein. Zieglein asks him to refresh her memory, shouting that she asks for materials, yet he brings an extra. She asked who this woman was, but when Kaya said her name, Zieglein furiously stared at her, saying she wasn't talking to her. Afraid, Kaya whispers to Weiss, inquiring about the identity of the demon before them. Weiss informs her that Zieglein is one of the most important people in the capital and advises her not to dare challenge her. Thinking it was unfair, Kaya cried and mumbled that being here was her dream. Weiss told Zieglein that Kaya was an expert on bear angels. He thinks Kaya knows how to process the materials. Since she found out what he was doing, she insisted on coming. Kaya confirmed this and said that she had been with bear angels since she was born, so Zieglein could ask her anything. Weiss inquired if she could take Kaya to the ministry magic, and when she agreed, Kaya became happy and hugged the two. Zieglein asked him if Kaya really knew about angel bears, and when he answered that Kaya thought angel bears were carnivores, she sighed and said she wasn't surprised. She was not omnipotent, so she begged him not to bring more problems. The next morning, Weiss mumbled how exhausted he was from what had happened yesterday. He could recall Zieglein scolding Kaya, warning her not to get comfortable at Weiss's house because she had prepared a place for her. He visited Lily's room but was greeted by the flying sleeper. Lily asked if he was okay, and he answered yes. Lily was gloomy as she said she was practicing magic because she really wanted to become a magician. Weiss realizes that even though Esmeralda helps her to sense magic power, she can't actually use magic yet. Magic power and magic are not the same thing. Magic power is like the raw material. When you add skills and knowledge, it takes the form of magic. That's why school exists. Magic is a type of science. You will learn various types of magic, like water and fire magic, at school, and as you go along, you'll figure out what kind of magician you want to be based on your own nature. He asked Lily what kind of magician she wanted to be, and she answered that she wanted to be a magician who could help her dad. Weiss was touched by her words, so he hugged and thanked her. It made him really happy that she looked up to him like this, but it also worried him a bit. He wondered if she was repaying him for something and hoped she could find her own path without feeling tied down. Weiss told her they would practice magic outside the capital. After a while, Lily was so happy as she tried to catch some insects. They play and have a good time. When tired, they took a break to eat the food he prepared. Lily noticed a bunny and quickly stood up and tried to approach it, but Weiss stopped her. He reminds her they will practice magic now so they can go back home before it gets dark. He then drew a magic circle on the ground and started teaching her. The important thing is to convert the magic power. He asks if she understands how important the magic circle is and questions if she knows this magic circle is. When she answered that it was basic fire magic, Weiss thought she was quickly picking up the fundamentals of magic, even though he had just rushed through the explanation. He felt like she was just a different person a while ago, but still noted that theory and practice are two different things. Even if she understands concepts, it takes a lot of talent for a beginner to draw a magic circle perfectly on the first try. To test his teaching, he looks for a suitable monster. He saw slime and thought it was a perfect target. But when he told her to use magic on that slime, Lily and Kumatan showed him this expression. Seeing that they were against his idea, he decided to skip it. Thinking that they feel sorry for monsters, Weiss felt he was a bad person for taking down 2 dragons that were said to be the god's messengers. He then saw this huge tree and told Lily to unleash her fire magic towards it. Lily agreed and grabbed her wand. She makes a stance and focuses on releasing her magic. Weiss looks at the kid's magic, impressed. If she can draw the magic circle, all that's left is to channel her magic into it. Lily launches her magic, burning the whole tree. They froze to see a huge fire, and when Weiss snapped back to reality, he immediately used water magic to suppress the fire. He heaved a sigh of relief after the fire was extinguished and quickly caught Lily, who had lost consciousness. Looks like she overdid it on the magic. Her stamina can't keep up with the amount of magic she is trying to release. Still, he expects the magic of a high elf to be this powerful. They need to teach her how to control her magic before school starts. About that, this hat that can control magic used by upperclassmen at the magic school will be useful. Zieglein was impressed by her power, not expecting that Lily would need the hat so soon. Weiss admitted Lily's power was extraordinary and thinks that by the time she reaches the intermediate level, she might even surpass him. Even so, he doesn't have a plan for losing to her in practical combat. Zieglein agreed. After all, he is the one who beat her. But in knowledge and strategy she was unmatched. Back to the topic, the entrance ceremony is coming up, so she wondered if he had a lead on where to get a hat, since a store-bought one won't cut it. Well, Weiss was just about to ask if she knew any good shops. Zieglein has heard rumors about a legendary hat maker who lives in Anheim. Anheim is a magical nation inhabited only by fairies and elves. It's technically part of the empire, but it's a closed-off, autonomous state, so she wasn't sure what it's really like inside. Weiss was certain Anheim probably has high-quality magical items and questioned if no one other than fairies and elves could enter that country. He thinks they have strict restrictions on entry for other races. Well, he was right. The entry requirements for Anheim are that you need to be a fairy, an elf, or have a family of those races. After that conversation, Weiss wasn't sure of what to think. Anheim is quite far. Getting there by magical motorcycle takes over 2 days one way. Besides, they still have other preparations to make before the entrance ceremony. It would be better for him to gather the materials and get a tailored hat from a brand shop in the capital. Lily and Kumatan warmly welcome him home and rush to hug him. After Lily informed him that he played with Kumatan hide and seek, Weiss looked at her wonderful smile and promised himself that he really wanted to get her the best of the best. With that, he asked Lily to go on a trip together for about a week. Their destination is an unknown land to Anheim. Meanwhile, Zieglein was woken by her maid, Emma, who apologized for waking her so early in the morning because she had a visitor. Zieglein wondered who that visitor was because no one ever visited her outside of work, not even Weiss. She panicked when the maid told her it was Weiss, so she instructed Emma not to let him into this room and just lock him up in the reception hall. On the other hand, Lily was amazed at the place that looked like a princess's castle. Since it was Weiss's first time here, he couldn't believe Zieglein really lives in luxury. He expected her to be wearing a long dress, but when she showed up, he was baffled to see her still in uniform during her day off. When asked about Kaya, Zieglein informed him that she had already taken care of her food and shelter and wondered why he had asked about her all of a sudden. Well, it was about the thing she mentioned earlier. He has decided to go to the fairy realm, so he needs Kaya's help. Zieglein froze, wondering if he was planning to bring Kaya to Anheim as his family. A lot of things come to her mind, wondering if he has feelings for Kaya. She shook her head before putting her palm on her forehead, asking if he was planning to make Kaya Lily's mother. Weiss immediately denied it, stating that he just wanted to leave Kumatan with Kaya while he was away. Blushing, Zieglein told him she would hand over the memo right away. He was about to leave, but Zieglein called him. However, she couldn't utter a word, so she just told him to be careful on his trip. Weiss agreed, promising to enjoy himself. As they left, Zieglein was hoping he would ask her to go along, but she knew better than to expect something like that would only turn to disappointment. It would be better if she were the one to offer to go along, but she couldn't because of work. Kaya warmly welcomed the two and boasted of her cool castle. While Lily responded that there was nothing in the place, Weiss wondered what was with her outfit. Kaya told him it was a city girl outfit and asked what he wanted. Well, he will be away for about a week, so he wanted her to take care of Angel Bear. With pouty lips, Lily clarified that it was Kumatan, but Weiss told her it was kind of embarrassing to hear an adult man say that. Is Angel Bear really so bad? Well, it was totally unacceptable. With that, he finally said the word Kumatan, asking Kaya to take care of it for a little while. Kaya suggested asking Zieglein. Since they just moved in, their place isn't exactly ideal for hosting yet. Weiss gritted his teeth, thinking Kaya just wants to go out and have fun. He told her she was more familiar with Angel Bear than anyone else, but Kaya denied it. She was just doing rounds to check things, that's all. all. Weiss was about to explode in her cockiness and planned on teaching her a lesson, but stopped when Lily told him he looked scary. Hearing that, he tried to calm himself. He must not let emotion take over him. Right now he was here as a father. Besides, the real issue lies with him. After welcoming her into their family, how could he even think of leaving something as precious as Kumitan with such an irresponsible young woman? He turned back, apologizing for bothering Kaya, and said that he would figure something else out. Kaya halted him, asking what she had messed up now. Well, it was about taking care of something for him. Since it will be for a while, he was thinking of giving her some white coins as compensation. Realizing a white coin is equal to 100,000 zennies, Kaya quickly stops them when they were about to leave and pick up Kumitan. She shouted that she was really worried and that she would take care of Kumitan herself. She can't trust someone she doesn't know to look after something as important as Kumitan. She is a bear master, so he can leave the angel bear to her. Wait, didn't she just say that she wasn't familiar with it? Well, she was just being modest. The moment Weiss handed the payment, Kaya pushed him out, telling him to have a safe trip and promised to take good care of Kumitan. The two started their venture to Anhiam using his motorcycle, stopping at the lake so Lily could play and then buy ice cream in a store. 2 days after leaving the capital, they finally arrived at their destination. Weiss praised her for working hard and thinks she must be tired. Lily chucked, telling her papa she could go anywhere with him. He was struck by lightning upon hearing her say, "I love you, Papa," and wondered if there really was happiness like this in the world. Becoming a father was the best decision he ever made. Lily questioned if this place was the land of fairies, and he affirmed it. She can even make a lot of elf friends here. As they walked, Weiss felt strange because he couldn't find the gate entrance. There aren't any signs pointing the way. Lily tried to call the fairy, asking where the entrance is. A voice answered, not expecting a cute little visitor in this place. Seeing how Weiss quickly hugged Lily to protect her, the voice assured him there was no need to be frightened. He moved closer and chuckled. Seeing him flying amazed Lily and asked if he was really a fairy. The fairy confirmed it and introduced himself as Zinnia. He welcomes them to the land of fairies and elves, Anhiam. As Weiss catches Lily, who loses consciousness, Zinnia couldn't help but utter how adorable this high elf is. Weiss inquires how he knew Lily was a high elf, so Zinnia answers that it was obvious. Her magic power is completely different from that of ordinary elves. Weiss believed common sense varies from country to country, but never imagined that high elves live here in Anhiam as regular citizens. He wondered if Lily's parents might also be here. Hearing the fairy revealed that her parents live here, but weren't exactly common, Weiss wondered what he would do if they find Lily's parents. Zinnia asked whether he was aware of the entry requirements for this country, and upon hearing that he was well informed, he revealed that he was actually in charge of immigration screening here in Anhiam. He asks their names and inquires if they are family. However, he could see that Weiss was a different species. Weiss told him they weren't related in blood and was about to say something when Lily suddenly spoke, telling the fairy that he was her dad, the best dad in the world. Hearing that made Weiss' eyes wet. Zinnia told him family isn't about blood ties and questioned why they were here. After hearing that they just come for Lily's hat, the fairy let them in. He summoned a magic circle that released a blinding light upon activation. In the blink of an eye, they were teleported in front of a huge magical tree, Yggdrasil. It is the heart of Anhiam, protected by the Fairy King. Everything here revolves around it because they live by Yggdrasil's power. Weiss wasn't surprised anymore, believing that teleporting instantly without any prep was impossible, even for fairies. Since his job was done, Zinnia informed them that if they went straight ahead, they would reach the town, and when they were ready to leave they could just call his name and he would come. With that, he bid them goodbye and wished them a great day. Weiss was about to carry Lily, but Lily wanted to walk on her own. Concerned, Weiss told her not to run because it was dangerous. A short while later they arrived at the town, full of fairies and elves. While Lily was amazed to see many fairies, Weiss could feel their gaze. As a human, he really stands out here. They continue walking, amazed at the sparkling lights. These high-quality magic stones are worth tens of thousands of zenny in the imperial capital. Lily pulled her dad, stating she wanted to go to that shop. Upon learning that it was a tavern, Weiss wondered in what world a kid dashes straight into a cavern like that. Lily opened the door and froze upon seeing how quiet the place was. Her mood returned to being cheerful when a fairy welcomed them and gave Lily a high five. She jumped in happiness after realizing that she just touched a fairy. Weiss was surprised to see a fairy working because he always thought they lived off magic and didn't need to work. The fairy hears that outside Anhiam, others live however they want, but here, everyone's got a job. Weiss placed Lily in a tall chair, and when asked for orders, she raised her hand and asked for alcohol. Weiss disagreed and ordered her a juice instead. With that, the fairy told the other fairy their order. Using his magic wand, the fairy poured their drinks into their glass and then served them. Lily threw a tantrum like a chicken because her dad was getting all the fun. She also wants to drink alcohol. Weiss inquired why she was so interested in alcohol, as it was not even sweet. Well, it was because everyone looked like they were having so much fun. Could it be that she misses that noisy little shop of Loret? That place was full of rough characters and constant brawls. But for Lily, it's a place full of happy memories. Finally, Weiss agreed to give it a try, but on one condition. There might be a scary witch who will come and kidnap kids who drink alcohol. It is the reason why he'd been stopping her from drinking, but if she really wants to try it, she must be willing to take the risk. Scared, Lily quickly tells her dad he just wants juice. Weiss asks if she was sure and apologizes in his mind, thinking that it was for her own good. The fairy approached her, served her some sweets, stating that they were tastier than alcohol. Weiss winked at the fairy, thankful for what it did. He then asks whether there is a hat maker in Enslaved. The fairy knew some, but wasn't sure if they would talk to Weiss if he went there. Weiss told him he had money, but the fairy clarified that it wasn't the point because the hat maker he knew was extremely distrustful of humans. As he walked, carrying Lily on her back, Weiss pondered about that hat maker who was distrustful of humans. Since the hat wasn't for him but for Lily, he thinks of asking nicely. After a bird flew in front of him, he wondered if there really was a shop like that around here. He stopped upon seeing the mushroom house and told Lily that they arrived. Upon entering, Lily was amazed to see many hats and said hello. The woman was glad to see a cute little customer, but her expression changed when Weiss spoke, apologizing for bothering her out of the blue and explaining that he wanted a hat made for his daughter. Seeing her staring at him, Weiss inquired if he had something on his face. The woman stood up and offered to lead the way. She approached Lily and asked her name. When Lily said her name, the woman inquired if she loved her dad. Lily answered cheerfully, stating she loves her dad. The woman agreed, saying that there is nothing better than a close-knit family always sticking together, but changed her expression as she said she was jealous. She whispers to her maid, who then approaches Weiss and asks permission to take Lily's measurement in the other room. He agreed and advised Lily to listen carefully to what her big sister says. Lily promised to be a good girl and told her dad to wait for her. The moment the door closed, the woman asked Weiss how dare he actually show himself before her. She revealed her name, Radimiria, and questioned if he didn't recognize her face. Shock, Weiss told her he didn't recognize her because this was his first time coming to Enslaved. The woman slowly walked towards him, saying that not a single day had passed that she had forgotten about him. It was he who took everything from her. Confused, Weiss repeated her words and tried to open the door, but it was locked. He clarified it was his first time seeing her and told her she was mistaken. Radimiria makes it clear that there is no way this is a misunderstanding because she can still see that moment in her dreams every single night. Weiss asks what she wants from him. Radimiria grabbed her wand, answering that it was obviously his life. Realizing Lily was a hostage, Weiss couldn't make a move, so he begged her to calm down. Radimiria didn't listen. Instead, she cast a spell, shouting that she would never forgive him. Her magic circle was familiar to Weiss, but before he could remember it, Radimiria launched her attack, stating that he was the one who stole her sister. The moment the attack hit him, Lily looked at the door, wondering if there was something wrong. The maid thinks she was just nervous and offered some special sweet tea from Enslaved. As he lost consciousness, Weiss finally remembered Radimiria's name. 8 years ago, 3 men surrounded a girl in a cloak because it was rare to see a woman in the area. They invited her for a drink, and since she wasn't answering, one of them tried to move her cloak to see her face, but the woman attacked him. With that, the 3 men got scared and ran. Weiss, who was watching from above, observed that she had some great skill because she cast the spell in an instant. He was at the Elven Kingdom of Almeria at that time, wandering from country to country, escaping the magical authorities. However, the food and drink here were so good, and it felt so comfortable that he ended up staying for a whole month without realizing it. All of a sudden, the woman in a cloak approaches him, asking him to kidnap her. Weiss thinks she is out of her mind, but the woman was serious. She wants him to snatch her away. She wasn't some shady character or anything because she is Hollow Starshcha de Almeria. She asked if he heard of her, but Weiss didn't. Hollow revealed she was the princess of this country and thought he wouldn't believe her, but he did. Hollow couldn't imagine how he believed in a random story like this all of a sudden. Well, Weiss only believes what he sees with his own eyes. Just by looking at her, he kinda guessed she might be the real deal. Sounds pretty like a princess. About the kidnapping plan, Hollow just wants to get out of this country. Weiss told her it was a nice country and she agreed. When asked why, she ordered a drink first before telling him that she was just not cut out to be a princess. Life at the palace is fine, but she feels way more at ease just hanging out at a regular tavern. Basically, she wants to quit being a princess and just live like a normal person. Sure, that's a shocking, shallow motivation, so typical of a princess who's totally out of touch with reality, but she can hold her own magic. She asks if that still makes her a failure. Weiss answered no, adding that it was shallow but not bad. She should be free to decide how she wants to live her life. But what's with the kidnapping? Can't she run away on her own? Well, everyone knows she sneaks into town sometimes. It's just that they let it slide because it's only for a short time. But if she ran away for real, they would start searching for her immediately. Evading that and escaping the country alone is impossible. She came to him because he looked tough and like he would actually take her up on it. Weiss liked her crazy intuition, so he agreed to kidnap her. At night, he arrived at the place, not expecting to break in this easily, even though he entered the secret passage she mentioned. He knocked on her door to announce his presence. Hollow got up but was still sleepy, which made Weiss wonder if she still wanted to run away. As she was about to prepare, her little sister showed up, inquiring if Hollow was still awake. Hollow was about to say something to her, but Weiss quickly carried her and ran away. Radomiria can't do anything but call her sister and cry. Now, Weiss recalled that Radomiria was Hollow's younger sister. Back in the past, Radomiria was so scared of humans that she couldn't even step outside. She's not eating much, so her parents are worried about her. The king told Shiira that he wants Radomiria to rest and recover in Anhiam for a while because he has heard there are hardly any humans in that country. He asks if Shiira would be willing to join them in this journey, knowing that Radomiria seems to have a liking to her. Shiira agreed, stating that wherever the princess goes, she will accompany her. Right now, Shiira was with Lily, who told her how Weiss came and saved her. Her papa was really kind, so she was going to become a magic user who could save him. Observing how Lily loves humans, Shiira felt guilty because this kid has no idea that this room is sealed with a powerful barrier created by Lady Radomiria's magic, since she's royalty. They have no way of knowing what's happening to her father outside. She feels sorry for her, who has done nothing wrong, but Shiira was devoted only to Lady Radomiria's loyalty. She asks the kid if she doesn't want to meet her real papa. There are high elves living in Anhiam, so maybe they can find her biological parents. Lily was confused about the real papa, so Shiira explained that Lily was a high elf and that humans and elves are different species. Lily isn't human, she belongs with elves. That revelation stunned the kid. She didn't understand what Shiira was talking about. All she wanted now was to go see her papa. She tried to open the door but it won't budge. Shiira apologized, saying that she can't see her father anymore. As Lily panicked, trying to open the door to see her papa, Shiira informed her that Weiss might not be in this world anymore. Lily turned with a blank expression. Shiira told her Anhiam is a wonderful place and that she was sure Lily would be much happier there. To her shock, a gust of wind suddenly blew when Lily unintentionally released her power, crying out. She promises not to be selfish anymore and will be a good girl. Shiira covers her face as Lily's power continues growing. The moment she told her papa not to leave her, her power burst, destroying the entire room. She approached Weiss, crying as she called him papa. Weiss could hear her voice, wondering if it was morning already. He has always thought there is nothing better in this world than waking up to his daughter's voice. It's the best kind of morning and he felt so lucky. Lily woke him up and when he did, he quickly got up, confused. Lily asked if he was alright, but Weiss looked at the surroundings first before inquiring if she was hurt. Lily assured him she was fine and then cried, thinking that she lost her papa. She hugged him, crying as she called him papa. Weiss questioned himself about why he made Lily, his precious daughter, wear this expression. Back then, he promised himself he would never make her sad again. He touched his head and, upon seeing blood, he wondered if he was hurt. He turned his head and saw Radomiria, who was now confused about why the door was broken. He told Lily to wait, promising himself never betray her trust again. Everything will be alright because he was the strongest creature in the world. Besides, a father never loses in front of his daughter. Radomiria couldn't believe the door, sealed with layers of her magic, was broken. Unfortunately, Weiss' daughter was a high elf. High elves are an advanced race of elves. They are different. Shiira couldn't believe a child like this could have such power. Weiss heard high elves live in Anhiam, but from what he sees, they may be known but not exactly familiar. Radomiria pointed her wand at him, warning not to get closer. As she cast a spell, Weiss thought that he could only summon a simple barrier in that split second. But even so, the magic pierced through his defense. Radomiria magic is no joke. Losing consciousness like that was a huge mistake. But that's exactly why he can use that. Radomiria launches an attack, demanding the return of her sister. However, Weiss easily blocks it with his magic shield, shocking the woman. The technique he used was extremely difficult to master, and it demands tremendous reflexes and practical use. Plus, you have to analyze the opponent's magic thoroughly, meaning you can only use it after taking a direct hit. Same kind, same amount. By clashing magic that's out of phase, it cancels out the attack. It is a mutual annihilation. Her attacks on him will no longer reach him. Not killing him the first time was her downfall. Taken aback as her body shook, Radomiria told him not to mess with her. She hates humans because they kidnapped her beloved sister, Hollow. There is no way her magic will be stopped. Seeing that tremendous power, Lily was worried for her father, but Weiss assured her he was fine. He focuses on sending his awareness flowing through every inch of his body's magic. Analyze and perfectly replicate the quality and frequency of Radimiria's magic. Then reverse the face. Radimiria curses that she will never forgive him, promising to kill him. But first, she wants to know where he takes her sister. She released multiple chains towards him, but with a swing of his hand, all of them were destroyed. Shock, Radimiria questions how her magic disappears like that. She warned him not to get closer and attack, but Weiss easily destroyed them. He slowly approached her and moved his hand towards her face. Terrified, Radimiria closed her eyes, but after hearing him ask if she wanted to see Hollow, she opened her eyes and looked at him. After a while, at Zenith, Lily was glad to finally return home. On the other hand, Radimiria wondered what kind of town this was. Well, this is Zenith, a town full of criminals. She won't find it on any map because it is a phantom city. Additionally, Hollow lives here. Radimiria wants to see her sister right now and ask what he did to her. Weiss advises her to calm down and not to get lost. She paused when Lily tagged her papa's clothes, excited to see big sister Hollow. Weiss agreed and promised to stop by at Laurit's shop too. He wondered what he should do now because he brought Radimiria to Zenith but hadn't told her the truth about what happened 8 years ago. It's not really something he should be the one to explain because Hollow wasn't kidnapped. She chose to leave her family to claim her freedom. He wonders how Radimiria will feel when she learns the truth. The sisters meeting again made him think it would not be a happy reunion. Finally, they arrived at Hollow's shop. Lily opened the door to greet Hollow, who welcomed them but was surprised to see that it was Lily and Weiss. Radimiria quickly ran to hug her and cried. She told her big sis that she was looking for her all this time. Speechless, Hollow begs her to stop crying. In the tavern, Laurit was glad to see them doing well. Suddenly, Hollow and Radimiria arrived. Radimiria heard everything from her sister, so she apologized to Weiss. She did something awful. She misunderstood and hated humans, even him. Weiss understands her. Given the circumstances, it's natural she hated him. Besides, if he hadn't helped, she and Hollow wouldn't have been separated. Radimiria turns to Lily, apologizing for scaring her so much. Lily just gave her a smile, which seemed to indicate she didn't mind at all. Weiss informs her that living in Zenith teaches you not to sweat most things and call it even. He then invited her to drink. He looks at them, saying to himself that what happens between the two from now on isn't something outsiders should poke their noses into. His job here is done. Still, he totally forgot that Hollow is a princess and just remembered it now after all this time. Amazed, Lily inquired if Big Sis is really a princess. When Hollow confirmed it, Lily hugged her, saying she loved her so much. Seeing the closeness of the two, Weiss realizes Lily was the closest to Hollow. He sighs, thinking that Zieglein's troubles won't be ending anytime soon. Finally, Lily's hat was done, and it perfectly suited her. It's absolutely wonderful, a truly work of a legendary hat maker. Lily thanked Radimiria, who hoped this made up for some of what she had done. For now, they should put her hat away because they will be riding the motorcycle. Before they left, Laurit gave Weiss some salt snacks and a little gift from Hollow for Lily's school. Radimiria sighs, thinking that if Lily had just stopped by Anheim, she could have shown her some cool shops and sights. She promised to come back to visit Lily again. She thanks Weiss because when she was a kid, she didn't really understand him at all. But thanks to him, she finally feels like she has met her real big sister. Weiss nods and bids everyone goodbye. Now the stage shifts once again to the capital. Lily told everything to Kumatin, who looked tired of listening but still smiled. Zieglein asks if he doesn't think the angel bear seems different than before. Well, Kaya took care of it and it seems it has gotten a lot stronger. Lily approached them to show Zieglein her hat. In response, Zieglein simply told her that it suits her. Man, she's really terrible with kids. She's got a kind heart, but somehow it's really hard to tell. His job might bring out those good sides so Lily can see them too. Zieglein warns him not to be late for the entrance ceremony tomorrow. She will come pick him up in the morning. Weiss asks if she will really come too. Zieglein reminds him of their promise that she will help him be Lily's mom. Tomorrow at the ceremony, she wants to play the role of Lily's mother. Weiss didn't mind and asked about Lily. Lily looks at her before answering no and maybe. Zieglein shook her, asking if it's okay she is the mom. Lily turns to Kumatin, informing her that Zieglein will gonna be her mom. Kumatin stares at her, then jumps toward her. She then lay on Zieglein's lap, warming herself. Zieglein asked for help, but Weiss told her to pet her. Shaking, she slowly tries to reach Kumatin's head but shriek when it moves and turns to her. Weiss touches her hand and puts it to the bear's head, teaching her how to pet it. Seeing her sweating and huffing for air, Weiss apologized that he didn't know she was scared of monsters, but it wasn't the reason why Zieglein acted like this. Finally, the day of the entrance ceremony arrived. Lily dressed herself on her own, but she forgot her wand. As she was about to get it, Weiss reminded her of her hat. He thinks that a long and happy school life depends on how you start. Forgetting something on the first day is out of the question. He can't have her getting looked down on by others. And as her father, he has to be perfect too. Lily is now fully prepared and is so excited for school. Seeing her like this made Weiss realize how she grown up so fast. She had lost all hope in the world back then, but the Lily from back then is gone now. From now on, he was sure a world of happiness was waiting for her. Zieglein told Weiss it was about time to go and greeted Lily with a good morning. She was shocked when Lily greeted her back, calling her mama. She bows, glad to be here today. Lily touches her hand and holds her papa's hand too. They walk like a complete family with Lily's cheerful smile. She felt so happy and wanted to become a wizard. Weiss agreed this kind of thing wasn't bad at all. But what was Kaya doing here? Well, she heard they serve a feast at the entrance ceremony, so there is no way she was missing out on that. Besides, she was planning on attending as Lily's mom. Zieglein beamed, too bad for Kaya. Zieglein will be her mom from today. Kaya wanted to be at least her big sister, but Zieglein declined. She doesn't have a kid that big. Kaya gritted her teeth, promising to find a way to get in. She then approaches Lily, praising her dress and noticing her robe shining. Weiss observed the two conversing and thinks that when you get down to it, you could call Kaya Lily's first friend. They arrived at Natasha Magic Academy, the most historic and renowned magic academy in the empire. Its magic education is top-notch, and despite the fact that students aren't selected based on their family background, many of its graduates use the skills they acquire here to land jobs at the Ministry of Magic, other government organizations, or famous corporations. It has produced numerous famous figures, including Professor Esmeralda. But the most famous person in recent memory would be the youngest person in history to be promoted to assistant to the Minister of Magic, Zieglein, who became a murmur of the people around after seeing a child and a man beside her, thinking she was married. Zieglein could feel like they were getting a lot of attention, but Weiss told her she was famous. Meanwhile, Kaya couldn't enter because the guards didn't let her in. Chapters end at 18. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you love this manga. Have a good day.